Hey guys, Jenna here. Welcome to my channel where I feature tiny and unique home tours and showcase stories of people living alternatively. Today's tiny tour features the story of Chris and Brandy, who after decades of work were tired of the rat race and looking for a big change. They always knew that they were happiest when traveling, so they downsized and renovated a school bus into a beautiful traveling tiny home. The interior is surprisingly spacious, with a 15-inch roof raise and all of the same finishes and furnishings that you'd find in a traditional home. So it feels super cozy on the inside, but the front yard is constantly changing. If you like videos like this, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know every time I publish a new video. But right now, let's jump right in and take a tour of this beautiful school bus home.
Will you join me? Will you roll? Make this house our tiny home.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Brandy.
Excited to share with you our school bus, Senior Busenstein. Before we moved into the bus, we both had full-time jobs. You know, we had a house with a fenced-in backyard, what most Americans aspire to have. I mean, we had that. We just got to a point where we had done it for so long. We had both worked full-time, essentially since we were 19, 20 years old. We were tired of it. We just weren't happy. It just didn't feel like we ever had any free time outside of that, 1 week, 2 weeks a year where we would get to travel. And we just decided we wanted to figure out a way to travel more.
And that was when we were happiest, was traveling.
Yeah. Being able to get out and see mountains and desert and ocean is just something that we've loved to do together. I got into home remodeling and construction in my early 20s. I've been doing it for about 23 years. So in building out our tiny home on wheels, we really wanted it to feel like a house, and that's what I knew how to do anyway. So for me, there wasn't really any other way than to just build it like a house. I think I put probably $30,000 into the remodel, and then we probably put another $10,000 to $12,000, I'd say, in mechanical repairs. Our inside may be 200 square feet, but our outside is enormous and beautiful and has endless opportunities. We're here on the outside of Senior Busenstein. This is a 37-foot long international Amtran with a DT466E and an Allison 2000 transmission. That was one of the main reasons we picked this bus, just longevity and reliability of these motors, plus it's got plenty of power. We do tow a full-size truck behind this, has no issues at all with that. One of the things that I don't love about having a dog nose or a conventional bus is the turning radius is pretty big compared to some of the flat fronts. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you're looking at doing one of these buses. We have a 75-gallon water tank, and our diesel tank is 60 gallons. The bus weighs 21,400 pounds, fully loaded with a full tank of water and a full tank of diesel. As far as mileage, we typically get anywhere between 6.5 miles a gallon all the way up to 9 miles a gallon. It really just depends on the terrain, whether we're pulling through mountains or we're in flat land. So we named our bus Senior Busenstein in a nod to our favorite television show, The Office. There's an episode in which Jim's trying to load boxes onto a truck, calls it Senior Lodenstein, so that's kind of a play on that. It was just a fun way for us to reference our love for that show. For the paint job on the bus, we did brush and roller. It's all Rust-Oleum paint. We did gloss white on the roof, light machine gray underneath, and this is a custom mix of a seafoam green that my wife picked out. We ended up putting in 9 RV windows and 2 skylights for a total of 11 openings, not including the windshield. So it gives us a lot of natural light inside when we want it. Our bus originally came with 3 underbody storage bays, 2 on this side, 1 on the other side. This houses a gray tank for our kitchen sink. This is mostly leveling blocks and tools. I did add another storage box here. Needed more space for tools, hoses, electrical cords, that sort of thing. On our bus, we have a 30 amp electrical system. So anytime that we're plugged into shore power or running a generator, that plugs in here. I have a freshwater gravity fill. This is how we fill our freshwater tank. And then for those rare occasions when we have access to running city water for a long time, I do have a city water inlet as well. I have a series of valves underneath the bed that I have to turn if we want to run off of city water. It works for us, but it is a little bit complicated to get the system switched back and forth. So on the back of the bus, we still have the original emergency exit door, which allows us to have essentially a garage. We've got quite a bit of storage here under our bed. So we use these totes to keep things organized. We have about 6 of these under here, as well as our freshwater tank, and then our batteries are under the bed as well. We do have a locking system on the inside. I don't have an external lock, but we have a pretty primitive system, just a U-bolt that locks around the lever so no one can get in when we're asleep at night. So welcome to the roof of our bus. We've got 4 solar panels up here. Originally, this area had been planned to have a roof deck, but we learned pretty quickly on the road that solar was a much higher priority for us, so we added 2 additional panels. So right now we've got about 1,200 watts up here. Each pair is on its own charge controller. I've got 1 set in parallel and 1 set in series. On our first couple trips in the bus, we didn't have a tow vehicle with us, and we actually would rent a car when we got to a location, but it was a real hassle, and we knew that once we went full-time, we wanted to have something with us at all time. This is a 2019 Ram 1500. Don't even notice it behind the rig when we're towing, and it's a great vehicle for us to travel into town to get groceries. A lot of storage in the bed, huge back seat for our dog when we take him places. Follow me and we'll check out the inside. Welcome to the inside of Senior Bus and Steen, aka our home. It's our cat Gibbs and our cat Ziva. When we did the build, we wanted to make sure it felt like our house. I was comfortable in building houses and remodeling houses, and so everything that I did here is done in a way that I would have done it on a sticks and bricks. As you'll notice, we don't have any upper cabinets here. We wanted to keep the space really bright and airy and open feel. That was a design choice from the get-go to keep this nice and high and open. So I'm 6'1". The bus when we bought it was almost exactly 6'1" on the inside, and I knew with insulation and the ceiling material, I would have been stooped over, and it was just something that I really didn't want to do. We did a 15-inch roof raise. We went back and forth on that and ultimately just decided to pull the trigger and do it. Aside from having that headspace to be able to stand up comfortably, it just feels bigger, feels more like a home to us. So in the cockpit of our skoolie, we've got new captain's chairs. I added a captain's chair for my wife, co-pilot seat if you will. And then one of the considerations we had was our cats and making sure that they had a place for their litter box and a place for the food that our dog wouldn't get to it. So we did build this box, plywood box, keeps their food. It's easy to access to refill, but the dog cannot get in there to get their food. When we're in transit, we typically move it out of the way. Dog likes to lay here when we're driving. And then behind the driver's seat, I have a little door. The cats go in to a compartment under the couch where we keep their litter box. And then there's a door opens in the front, slides out for easy maintenance. So in our living space, we knew we wanted a large, oversized couch. So we went with a full 7-foot long. This is actually a queen futon mattress that's just folded up. It does turn into a queen bed if we need it, but typically this is the state it's in. We like to watch TV in the evenings. It's our favorite way to unwind, whether it's The Office on DVD or watching movies or occasionally over-the-air TV. So we did put a TV in. We've got a DVD player and all our movies and everything in the cabinet below. It's just one of the things we enjoy doing in the evenings. Here we have our table. This is mainly used for eating. We can fold it down, flip the chairs around if we're housing guests, but it's just a good place to look out at the scenery and enjoy a meal. Welcome to our kitchen. It's a little small, but it's very functional for us. Small sink with a faucet. We do have a drinking faucet that's got its own filter. We have a 2-burner propane cooktop. It's really worked out well for us. This is a prefab butcher block top from Home Depot that we stained and sealed with mineral oil. All the cabinets and cabinet doors and drawer faces are hand built by myself. Our spice racks here, we do have our pantry here. So most of our dry food storage is in this cabinet here. I keep all my coffee supplies in the top, and then we've got baskets in each bin. For our refrigerator, we just went with a 7.6 cubic foot residential refrigerator. Bought this at Home Depot. It used to be red. Rattle can spray painted it the color that we chose, and it works really well for us. Above it, we've got extra storage. Typically it's chips, bread, that sort of thing. And then the cabinet to the right is our primary clothes storage. So we've each got 2 of these soft bins, pull out, and then we share the top basket. So we're here in the bathroom. We essentially decided to make this a wet room. So we do have a flushing toilet with a bidet. All the walls are waterproofed completely behind what you see. What you see is actually tongue and groove cedar that I milled and painted with an exterior paint. And then our floor is a penny tile on a waterproof preformed pan. We have a curved shower curtain out here that gives you a lot of room for a tiny space. Once the shower curtain is closed, it's about 4 feet by 2.5 feet. So really just as big as a lot of residential showers. So here in this angled hallway on the way to the bedroom is where most of our electronics are housed. This corner cabinet has our 2 charge controllers. Those wires then feed into this box under me where my inverter is, my AC breakers, as well as our DC fuses. And then that all runs in from our batteries, which are just on the other side under the bed. We did a little jog in the hallway. You step up over the wheel well into this little cozy nook. We've got a queen mattress. We added some cargo nets here for extra clothes storage. We did think about putting some cabinetry back here for clothes storage, but felt that might make the space a little bit too constricting and claustrophobic. The cargo nets are working great for us. It's not an elegant solution. It doesn't look great. It was a cheap solution to add more storage, and I highly recommend them. I mean, they work great. Can hold quite a bit in them. For me, it's always, I want to see the next thing. I want to see the next thing. And being on this journey has kind of taught me to maybe slow that down a little bit and enjoy where I'm at first. And then we'll go to the next thing, because that next thing's still going to be there.
We talked about it for a long time. Like, should we do this? It's risky. I mean, we sold our house. We sold most of our stuff, but I wish we had done it sooner. I have really bad anxiety, and my anxiety has improved drastically.
Mm-hmm. Just do it. Take the leap. You can always find a better view. We found that it's actually gotten us probably closer together than we were before.
Thanks for watching this week's video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you soon with another tiny or unique home tour.